Old Alabama Gardener. In this video, I'm going to show you how I cook yellow crookneck summer squash. Now I think yellow summer squash is best when it's about maybe 4-5 inches long and it's still going to be tender. If you wait much longer than that, it starts to get hard. Okay, let's cook some squash. First thing, of course, is I'm going to wash them. I'm going to cut the stem end off, and I'm going to cut the bloom end off because it tends to be a little bit hard. And then I'm going to slice the squash crosswise, as you see me doing here, in about 1/4 inch. You could go 3/8 of an inch if you want to, type size slices. Now I'm showing using half a cup of flour and half a cup of cornmeal, but all that's important is that you use equal amounts of those two ingredients, and you put them in a bag because we're going to add the squash to that bag and shake it all around to get the squash a good coating before we start frying it. Add a little bit of salt if you want to, or if you're not, leave it out. And then shake that bag all around to get your ingredients mixed and start adding the squash. Make sure you shake it all around good to get a good coating on all the various slices of the squash. And then we'll get ready to cook it. So whatever oil you like, get some in there. I don't really use a thermometer to measure the temperature of the oil, but when I put a chopstick in it, as you see me doing it here, and that chopstick begins to sizzle with those little bitty bubbles, then I know it's ready. Now I'm going to continue adding squash, and actually I'm going to build it up in the form of layers because I'm not trying to produce crispy slices of squash, as you'll see in a moment as we get this cooking going. So build it up, have maybe 3-4 layers of squash. Now once it starts cooking, obviously those pieces on the bottom are going to start browning first. So get in there with a spatula and just turn them over. Move them around, and it'll continue to cook as you see in this picture here. Now, as I turn this squash over here, you're going to see that on the bottom, it's actually getting quite brown. And all the little pieces of squash are starting to get soft. Some of them are almost close to the point what you would call mushy. And that's where we want it. We're about ready to eat. Okay, let's plate it up. So here's our squash. I call this southern style of cooking. Now, of course, there's other ways to cook squash. You can cook them with a little bit of onion. You can make them into a casserole, things like that. But this is pretty much a southern way of cooking squash here. And so let's give it a try and see what it tastes like. Maybe a little bit hot. That's good, and there's hardly anything that I can think of that resembles the flavor of good, fresh summer squash. That's really, really good. I like it. I can make a meal just eating squash. Be nice if I had a sliced tomato to go with it, but just squash is very, very, very good. Have another bite here, and then we'll do something else. When food brings a smile to your face, you know it's good. And this is really, really, really good. So, let me get a little bit here. You know what I'm going to do now, don't you? I wish I could share this with you. I wish you could just have a bite of the squash like this. I'm sure you'd love it. I'd probably have to fight you for the rest of this, what's on this plate here. But can't do it. You got to get out there in the garden, plant you some squash, grow your own, get in here and cook it. Nice bite here. That is good. Really, 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 really good. Well, I'm going to finish this up. So we'll talk with you later.